December 22nd, 2025, a man walks into a hospital emergency room with severe chest pain. They give him painkillers. That's it. Painkillers for severe chest pain. But hours pass and his blood pressure keeps climbing. And his father is sitting right next to him while he tells to his father that, Papa, I cannot bear this pain. More than 8 hours pass and finally they call him into the treatment area. But within moments, he stands up, clutches his chest and collapses. He dies right there. When I heard for the first time about this story, I thought this must be in a third world country where the health system has completely collapsed. But this happened in Canada. Imagine the country that we called as one of the most developed and progressive nations.
He was not given help. They said that chest pain is not considered acute problem. They do not suspect a cardiac arrest. The hospital administration, the employees of Grey Nuns Hospital have basically killed my husband, Prashant Shri Kumar.
So, I started looking for more data to understand how common is this, and what I found was shocking. Nearly 24,000 Canadians died between April 24 and March 25, waiting for surgeries or diagnostic scans. Think about it, nearly 24,000 people. That's 2,000 people a month. Okay, so Canada has a problem. But Canada is supposed to be, well, like I discussed, I mean everyone ranks them in the top countries in the world. Look at these two numbers, 43% and 50%. One of this is for rich countries and one of this is for poor countries. The OECD data of 2024 across 38 countries asked people one question: are you satisfied with your housing? And for the first time in history, poor countries won. These numbers shouldn't exist. And if you live in a rich country, it explains why life feels harder every year. Once you understand why they do, you will start questioning how we measure progress itself. So, what makes a country truly developed anyway? I had to answer this question and I needed to know what does this term actually means. And according to World Bank, it comes down to three things. GDP per capita, which means how much money the economy makes. Level of industrialization, which basically means factories, business, production. And then something called Human Development Index. The Human Development Index measures income, education, life expectancy. That seems reasonable, right? If this is how we measure success, then Canada should be doing great, but it isn't. So I started mapping this more carefully. Canada, nearly 24,000 deaths on waitlist. Then the United States, a 2022 study published 1.3 million Americans with diabetes rationed insulin in the past year. Just to make you understand, rationing means that skipping doses and taking less than prescribed because they can't afford it. People have died doing this, and at this point, I am thinking, okay, these are isolated problems, healthcare system under strain. But then I kept finding more. Entire American cities, Flint, Jackson, Newark, years without clean water and lead contamination.
Worried and angry about lead contamination, residents of Newark, New Jersey are demanding bottled water and answers.
There is a clear infrastructure failure, and I expected this to be the exception. What I didn't expect was when I started looking into the countries that are not considered developed, that truly shocked me. I started looking at China's infrastructure investment, and this is where it got strange. In December 2025, China's high-speed rail network passed 50,000 kilometers. And compared to this, the US has barely built any true high-speed rail systems. But I kept digging in further. According to World Bank data, China lifted hundreds of millions out of extreme poverty in recent decades. And India saw similar patterns: significant poverty reduction and hundreds of millions climbing out. Now, look, I'm not saying these countries are perfect. They have their own massive problems, either political, freedom, inequality, or environment issues. These numbers don't tell the whole story, but they do tell a story, and that story doesn't match what we have been told about developed versus developing. So I went back to understand this definition even further. Remember what the scorecard actually measures? Income, education, life expectancy. Rich countries score high on all three, but wait, Watch what happens when I ask a different question. Can you afford housing? Can you see a doctor when you need one? Or can you build a stable life? These aren't on scorecard. The label developed measures if the economy is growing, not if your life is working. And that's when I realized what's actually happening. 1980s and 1990s, policy change across Western countries. Housing stopped being treated as shelter. It became an investment asset, an investment that must grow in value. If house prices don't rise, the whole system breaks, which means someone has to lose, and that someone is you. Since the 1980s, and you can verify this, corporate profits have soared while worker wages adjusted to inflation have barely moved. The economy is winning and you are not. The system isn't failing, right? It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, here's the part that keeps this running. When people notice their lives are getting harder, their anger gets directed somewhere else.
What wrong did they do to you?
Many Indians are in Canada, and I want you to go back.
Man was captured on video hurling racist abuse at an Indian origin worker inside a McDonald's outlet.
My grandma's getting attacked!
Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
The hate crimes against South Asians in Canada rose by 220% from 2019 to 23. And this is not just Canada. Look at UK and Australia. Similar protests are happening against the immigrants.
Mate, a lot of you. This is our country. You should be here standing with us.
For the first time in history, poor countries beat rich countries on a basic measure of living. Not because poor countries became perfect, but because rich countries chose a scorecard where people don't count. So, you are not failing and you are not broken. You are living in a system that measures success by how much investors make, how high asset prices go, and how much corporations make profit. So, every time you hear that the economy is strong, markets hit record high, GDP growth exceeds expectation, while your rent keeps rising, while you can't afford healthcare, and while your kids can't move out. And that's the real scorecard, which is working exactly as it was designed for. And now you can see it everywhere. Who is development actually for? Comment below and send this to someone who still thinks their country is winning.